Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the War and Peace podcast. I'm Brett Lampley.
And I'm Jacob Homont.
And today we're going to be doing a Christmas special podcast. We're going to talk about a couple of Christmas, related things. And we're going to, just kind of wing this podcast. So I'm going to start off about Black Friday. Everyone knows that shopping in America and anywhere really is changing. And it is going more technology advanced and online shopping. Of course, the juggernaut of the online shopping industry, Amazon, is really causing, just Americans to change their ideas about how they shop. Black Friday is, infamous for about how it turns into absolute chaos. And it's actually becoming less of a chaos fest now that online shopping exists. Discounts, getting shipping, all the discounts that, Amazon gives you, and the convenience of Amazon is making shopping in actual brick and mortar stores, more obsolete. So society is completely changing, and they were saying that Black Friday really isn't as much of a big deal as it used to be. But basically, like I said, it's just the future is changing, and we are going to be going into a even more technologically advanced age, and we are just going to completely change our way of life.
Most definitely. I would like to add a few things, though. The stores that are still, the people who still go to the stores for Black Friday are always caught up in chaos, and I heard somewhere that a lady kicked a 5-year-old child to take the box that he was holding.
Right, and it's not completely, the chaos isn't completely dead, but they are talking about how it's starting to become a little bit less than it used to be. But yeah, you're right, people do take things way too, seriously about instances like this. Deals just drive people crazy. But, so the future of this might end up changing in the next couple of years. It'll be interesting to see what happens to, the chaos fest of Black Friday as online shopping becomes, the main way of shopping. Just a week ago, Tennessee Christmas Parade was actually shut down because there was a float being created that spread Christmas messages and Bible messages, as well as a love everybody message to support the the LGBTQ community. So the townspeople actually didn't appreciate the idea that they were mixing Christmas and LGBTQ support. And they threatened to pelt the float with jawbreakers and tomatoes, so they had to cancel the parade. They're talking about maybe completely canceling it for the whole season, but only time will tell what happens. But it's just conflicts like this are starting to, really take hold during seasons, holidays like this. And it's kind of like a conflict between, Christian ideas and LGBTQ ideas. And this is just an example of just conflicts that will arise in instances like this. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with the parade, if they keep going with it, or when they keep going with it, what's going to happen with it. So Jacob's going to take over.
I actually have some stuff to say about the Christmas parade. I think that shutting it down is definitely a good thing, not only to stop any violence that would come out of it, but definitely, since I myself am a Christian, I believe that Christmas is a Christianized holiday, and spreading beliefs that are against the word of the Bible are most definitely not in the agenda of the people who would want to participate in the Christmas parade.
Yeah.
And it's very clear that in the modern society today, the agendas of groups like LGBT and then other groups like Black Lives Matter, maybe even some other groups such as that, minority leaders and whatnot, are trying to throw their agenda around everywhere. And this even applies to, the U.S. politics, whatever, with Democrats and Republicans. They're always trying to throw their agenda around, which is a bad thing, because in a Christmas parade like this, where it's supposed to be a time of celebration and love for everyone around you, you shouldn't want to make everything specifically about one group of people. You want to make sure that everyone is acknowledged but not over-acknowledged,
Yeah, and I understand that, especially since it's a Christian holiday, and of course I'm a Christian too, and since it's a Christian holiday and with Christian rules that have been set up, it's a sin to us. And it's definitely a little bit, it seems like it's a little bit of a violation of the holiday in a way. Now, I'd say violence is definitely not the way to handle it, but I'd say that, these conflicts, the town not wanting this to happen is pretty reasonable, especially since small towns like this come from traditional, cultures, and they really support, what they believe in a little bit more. And so yeah, it's a very interesting topic to talk about, very controversial, but I feel that violence isn't the way to talk about it. I think we should talk about it with words, but yeah, so that's what we think about the issue.
This isn't really Christmas related, but it's something that's definitely big in the world. The Iran gas price protests. The president of Iran, Ayatollah Sayyid Ali Khamenei, held a speech Sunday saying that several people have died in the protests due to the defense forces of Iran putting them down, very violently, obviously, over their decision to protest against the government's rise in gas prices. This is a major step because it definitely shows that Iran is a more authoritarian government, which has been known since the 70s when the Islamic Republic came to light. But official Iranian media definitely shows that protesters have been blocking traffic and making traffic jams, and government forces have been trying to break up these protests and the blockades to resume normal operations of the country.
Yeah.
It's not, like I said, it's not very Christmas related, but it's most definitely something that is important that's been happening recently.
Right. And this is a politics and news podcast too, so
Definitely.
anything that comes around will go. So yeah, so do you want to take over about the rest of the podcast?
After this, we just figured since it's a Christmas podcast and it's almost close to the end of the semester, we just mess around a little bit. So we're going to be talking about random topics. Like you, Brett, you can bring up anything you want. I'll bring up anything I want. It doesn't necessarily matter.
Yeah. So we just really wanted to mess around a little bit, like Jacob said. So what are you doing for the holidays?
I don't know. I'm probably just gonna go visit family, maybe my grandparents. I haven't seen them in a while, so it'll always be good to hang out with them.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah. I don't even know what the heck we're doing. Like, it's kind of a blur to me. Like, Thanksgiving and Christmas is all, like, a blur to me on what we're going to be doing, because I don't even get told until, like, the day before. So, yeah, it's really fun.
Yeah. My grandma likes to bake cakes and whatnot, so I'm probably going to help her with that and cookies and stuff.
That sounds fun. I have no cooking talent, so, like, I mean, I can make some things. Like, I can make a cobbler, but, like, cake, that's not me. I'm not really the best at that stuff.
Yeah. We have a lot of German dishes that my grandmother likes to make.
It must be
like,
cool.
Schnitzel and, cakes and stuff. Black Forest cake is really good. She has, like, her own special ingredient. She puts, like, certain spices in it that you wouldn't really expect to be in a cake, but it brings out a nice new flavor.
Yeah, that's really cool. Yeah, so wait, where does she live? Does she live in Germany, or?
No, she actually lives, in southern Johnston County.
Okay.
But she's from Germany, along with the rest of my family, and she lived there for a good portion of her life before she moved here.
Yeah, that's really cool. I don't know too much about German culture, but that definitely seems like something really cool to celebrate, by making, German traditional foods. And like I said, I really have nothing, I don't really have much I know about that stuff, so it's actually, just the American, just born and raised in North Carolina, it's actually pretty cool to, just hear that you do that.
It's definitely interesting because I get to have two Christmases. I have the normal Christian Christmas and St. Nicholas Day, where you put boots out and you get stuff in your boots when you wake up,
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've never heard of that either. That really just shows, how knowledgeable I am about the, different holiday events and stuff. But yeah, that must be really interesting.
Yeah.
So you have an artificial tree or a real tree?
I think we're gonna get a real tree this year.
Okay, so do you have an artificial tree as well, Or do
Yeah,
you
I
just
think we
get
have one in the attic, unless we threw it away. We probably threw it away.
Okay. Yeah, we got an artificial tree. I think it was like a year or two ago. But I think that, I mean, personally, I think artificial is kind of the way to go. Like real, it's actually real debate, like which one's better. I think artificial trees, I think, are starting to rise in popularity some, just because, the convenience, and they sell them, online. Amazon doesn't sell real trees, obviously, because it's Amazon. But they do sell artificial trees, and since I already talked about how Amazon's really just stepping up during the holidays.
Yeah, this goes back to what you said.
Yeah, and they're going to order trees off of Amazon because Amazon's very popular now, and
Definitely.
shipping, and especially if you have a Prime account, this is definitely prime time for the holidays. Getting away from that terrible pun. Yeah, so. I like artificials because you don't have to clean up because all the little needles and stuff fall off of the tree, and some people put up like I guess rugs underneath the trees to catch them all, but it's still kind of weird to deal with that. And then you have to water the tree, you have to set up the tree, and then when the tree dies, you have to throw it away. But you talk about benefits of real trees.
Yeah, with the real trees, whenever we usually get them, we have a bonfire, or like a fire pit in the backyard. So when Christmas is over, we'll take it down and we'll cut it up, and then we'll use it for firewood.
Oh, yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
I've never even thought of that. But yeah, the smell too, like genuine smell. So what we do is my mom likes to put up candles on the tree, to just kind of try to recreate the smell, but it's not the same. Because a real tree just, you feel more genuine.
Yeah, you go downstairs when you wake up, and maybe you don't have an upstairs, but that doesn't really matter. You go to the room with the tree in it, and you have that crisp, like, wilderness scent.
Yeah.
And it smells good. It makes the house, it has a holiday scent.
And it's enhanced because it's genuine too.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's kind of the sad part about the tree. Like, you feel a connection to your real tree. The artificial tree, you just kind of put it up and you feel like, yeah, it's up. But with a real tree, I kind of feel just a little bit more, warm and fuzzy around a real tree. Because it's just, it's traditional.
Yeah.
And, so when we switched from real to artificial, because we used to do real until, like, a couple of years ago when we got the artificial, it was kind of like just something, it's kind of like losing something, like losing a friend or something. It's kind of what it feels like.
It has a nice charm to it that you can't get anywhere else.
Yeah, and it's just, when it goes, it's just kind of sad. Because you're just like, oh, man, we don't get the, experience, especially the experience of going and getting the tree. That's always fun. Like, I don't remember if we ever used to go to, like, the, old-fashioned lots that had the trees out, but I know we used to go to Lowe's, and, it was always about the hunt, too, and finding, the best tree, of course, affordable, because, your parents don't want to spend that much on the tree, and, just trying to find the best tree, and it's just a really fun experience. Definitely. Also, we have LED lights, and it sucks.
Oh.
So the LED lights obviously are, the more white color of light. It doesn't feel right to me.
I know. With, like, non-LED lights, you have, like, the warm orange color.
Yeah, and that's exactly what I'm telling my parents. It just doesn't feel right. Christmas time is about, it may be cold outside, but it's really about, the warm, loving feeling you get from everything.
Yeah.
But when you have LED lights, you walk up and see your tree. And it's just, you feel like you're outside, not inside, and you don't feel like you're sitting by the fire with your stockings up, your tree up. And, when you have the warm lights, it just adds something to it. And, just the room looks much better. But when you have the lights that we have, it just doesn't feel right. It doesn't feel genuine. So when you mix the artificial tree and the LED lights together, it's honestly kind of depressing.
Yeah.
I'm not even gonna lie, it's just depressing.
It may be vibrant, but it's not. That's not what Christmas is about.
Yeah, I want my Christmas tree to look like an actual Christmas tree and not like the headlights of a car. And it's like I said, it's just sad and depressing, and I don't like it. But yeah, but we used to have the good lights, and I don't remember. I think they just burned out or we threw them out or something. And now we have these, and they're cheaper, though. That's why we have them, because they're cheaper. But cheaper isn't always better, or I don't think so. So
we have a nice little, like, some, wreath stuff around our banister on our staircase, and we have lights running through that. it looks pretty nice.
Yeah, it's cool. We kind of have like a cajillion wreaths in our house at this point. My mom is very obsessed with wreaths. We have like a fall wreath, a winter wreath. So I think we probably have a summer wreath. I don't even know, but yeah. So it's interesting, but yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot of different decoration styles for the holidays.
It's always really fun decorating for the
Yeah.
holidays because you go and you get the stuff and then you remember what it was like last year and then you want to make sure that you can either replicate that or make it better. And with me, I'll go into the attic and I'll pull out the toad or whatever and I'll have all my German decorations, and then I'll have the basic Christmas stuff like stockings and then florals or whatnot. And then with the German stuff, you have nutcrackers that you can place around the house or whatever. We have
Yeah.
this neat little thing where you put candles around a thing, and the smoke goes up and turns a wheel that makes like little figures move around on it.
Really?
Yeah, it's pretty neat.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
We're not that advanced. We're not that, we're just not, we're simply not that. I mean, we have a couple of nutcrackers and they just kind of stare at us, but, and then it's just in our living room. It's kind of weird because it's like, we have a couch and then we have a table behind it and it has the nutcrackers on it. So they're just kind of staring you down while you're sitting. It's kind of uncomfortable, but yes, and we have the bunch. I think that our tree came with like branches that you can hang up all over the house, and that's what we use. We hang it up on the banister and everything. So it's yeah. Also, back to lights real quick. Who uses rainbow lights? Like, I have not seen a single tree that has rainbow lights on.
Me either. I've seen rainbow lights outside,
Yeah.
and it doesn't look that great.
Yeah, and that's why I think people just don't use it. But I haven't seen an actual tree that has, the multicolored Christmas lights on it. I don't know. I bet I've seen it at some point, but it just has not been in the, recently that I've seen it.
I've seen red, green, and white, but I haven't seen like a multitude of colors like blue and yellow and whatever.
Yeah, the mix of lights. And heck, I haven't even really seen the different color. I haven't seen the singular red or the singular green. Now, green.
I don't think green would really go good with a tree.
Yeah, you have a green tree and then you have a green light. How does that work? Like, who sits there and says this is a good idea? And blue could look good, I'd say. And I'm gonna guess you can just get different shades of trees too. I bet you can get artificials that are more, and towards the darker side of things. So you can probably make some different colors work. Like, you go into Lowe's and you see, I saw a 12-foot tall tree at Lowe's.
Nice.
Who wants that? I mean, you go to Biltmore and you see something like that. That's reasonable because it's Biltmore. It's a giant tree. But you go into Lowe's and you see a 12-foot tall tree. What are you going to do with it? Like, you just buy that just to say, I have a 12-foot tall tree. Is this what you do?
Scrape it against your ceiling.
Yeah, like the have you seen Christmas Vacation?
I haven't.
Oh, so what they do is they go out into the wilderness and they chop down like a genuine tree, but it's like it's very tall. It's like a genuine forest tree. They chop it down and they of course wrap it in that I don't know what material it is, but they wrap up the limbs and stuff. So they come back to the house and they put this gigantic tree in their living room. And then they cut the thing that holds back all the leaves that just launches out and launches one guy across the room. It's kind of like that, except with an artificial tree. And how do you even reach that tall? Do you have to get a ladder?
Yeah, you'd need a ladder.
You would actually need unless it's some commercial thing. It's probably, I bet that the only people that buy that is people for a commercial business, probably.
Probably.
But otherwise, it's ridiculous. And then they have trees that have snow on them, like the artificial snow that's already on there. I actually kind of like those.
Yeah, they look neat.
They do, but some of them just look like they're just got covered too much sometimes. Just a little bit of dusting on there would work.
And then you have the white trees that are just like plain painted white.
I don't know what's up with that. Like, who came up with that? Is it supposed to show a snow effect? Because it's completely unrealistic.
I don't know, but they look nice if you can set them up right.
Yeah, and it depends on just who makes them. But Yeah, it's a wide variety of trees. Like I said before, you can decorate for the holidays in so many ways, depending on your culture, just traditions that your family has, or just what you get from your retail store. It just completely changes. And going into different people's houses, like getting invited to relatives' houses or something during Christmas is very, like, for me, it's very fascinating to see, all the decorations they have put up and how each, tree. That's what I look at first, the tree. And, of course, that's the thing that grabs your attention the most. And, it's just interesting to just immediately take a look at those details and see what's different between, each house.
Because the tree still tells the story of the family.
It does. And do you have, like, the ornaments that you buy for, particular things? Like, do you have ornaments that you have for tradition?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I have ornaments that my father made when he was deployed in Iraq. I have ornaments that I made when I was like in first grade or whatever in my art class. You can have a lot, and it's very different from family to family.
Yeah, and we have all of our ornaments because when you take a look at a tree and it's just like the red ornaments that you find at Walmart, it's kind of sad. But you know what they're doing. They're just kind of setting up a professional tree, as I like to call it. And but ours, we don't have like a single ornament that's the same as the other ornament. Like all of our ornaments are mixed matched based on things that we've done. Like I have a camera ornament because I'm a photographer. I just got it this year, and just random things that have value to your family. But if you're some stranger walking in there, just like, what the heck is this tree? But to us, it is tradition, and it holds a lot of value because we've done a whole bunch as a family, and just we have memories and stuff. So that's why I like setting it up and putting up ornaments because you take out each one, and it's like, oh yeah, I remember this one, and you just remember what happens with it.
Yeah.
So it's really fun, setting up for Christmas as a whole, and lights are kind of a pain to do.
Yeah.
Wait, don't some trees have built-in lights?
Yeah, but they're not as fun.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of, the lights are a little bit of work, especially since our tree's in the corner. So I have to stand behind the tree as my mom passes the lights to me, and I go around the back. So that's not very fun, but, it's about the effort, I guess. Just you take a look at the tree, it's like, oh yeah, I put that up.
Yeah.
And the trees that have lights built in them, I kind of wish we had one because I don't like putting up lights, I really don't, but yeah.
What are you asking for Christmas?
Well, so I'm going to Philmont. Do you know what Philmont is?
I don't. Where's it at?
So it's a scout camp, and it's in I forgot what town it is in New Mexico, but it's it's an area of New Mexico.
That's neat.
And you go there, and you go anywhere from a 50 to like 80-mile hike over a certain amount of days, and it's during the summer. And I'm going to be trying to get a bunch of gear for that because I happen to at the moment not be ready, gear-wise for a hike like this. And my birthday is going to be on February, so try to get back-to-back stuff, get a whole bunch of gear, and be ready for that. So things like hiking pants and specific temperature ratings of sleeping bags and sleeping pads, and all the logistic stuff that you need to be able to actually camp out that way. So it's going to be fun.
Yeah.
And it's going to be a lot of stuff that I really need more than want, but I'm going to try to throw in a couple of things that just want to have.
Yeah.
We use more on a daily basis, type things like that. What are you going to be asking for?
I don't know. It's like as you get older, you don't necessarily like think you want anything anymore.
Yeah.
It's kind of sad because I remember when I was a kid, I'd always ask for like toys or whatever, and it'd be really fun. But now I just get things like clothes, and maybe I'll get like 1 or 2 games.
Yeah.
I kind of want like maybe, I don't know, when I'm 16 or 17, I don't know if I'll get anything this year, but I kind of want to do like a World War II history reenactment thing with a group of people.
That's actually really cool.
Yeah. I think they have some in the mountains here, but if not, they definitely have some in like West Virginia that I could go to occasionally if I wanted to. And it's a good way to meet new people and make new friends, and I guess I could get some gear for that for Christmas, but I don't know if I'll do it yet.
Okay, well that actually sounds really cool, and I think that history is probably underrated when it comes to kids because it's actually really cool, especially during things like World War II. That's some
Yeah.
interesting, pieces of history. I've been to one reenactment, and that was a Civil War reenactment, and I forgot where it was at. I think no, Fort Macon in North Carolina or South Carolina. I forgot which state it was. But we went to Fort Macon and watched a reenactment. But that's the only reenactment I've been to. I kind of want to see more, but it's not like we have like the opportunity to see a bunch of reenactments because it only happens, only so frequently. But yeah, so that's really cool. And like you said, it's weird when you grow up, and I normally hold off making my Christmas list because you don't think about it anymore. Like when you're a kid, that was all you thought about, and now it just feels like it just feels like you have to work to put things on your list because I can't think of things.
Yeah, me either. It feels like, I don't know. It feels like when you're a teenager, you'd want or need more, but like that's not really the case.
Yeah, and it's really weird. And then I remember when I was young, I woke up at like 6 sharp every day, and then ran down the stairs, and I was ready for Christmas to happen. Now I waddle on down at like 10, and I don't really care. Grab some food or whatever. I'm just kind of...
Every Christmas morning or every Christmas night, I could never fall asleep until like 12, and I was always so scared that I'd, be awake when Santa came or whatever, when I still believed in that. And then I'd wake up at like 6 or 7 o'clock in the morning. My body would just wake me up just like that. I wouldn't have an alarm or whatever. Now I just like wake up and I sit in bed and I get up whenever I feel like it.
Yeah, it's really weird. Also, Santa, he should be arrested. I say we go after that man.
Yeah.
Because like the person that came up with all this, I don't even know who came up with it.
It's been a tradition since like the 14th century.
Yeah, but like the person who came up with it just never thought, he's breaking an entry and he's, just in a house. But I guess that wasn't a concern in the 14th century as much as it is now. But also, have you ever thought Santa should get arrested for copying exact versions of, you get an Xbox. He makes the exact same Xbox as you would get from like a Microsoft store. That's illegal.
Actually, it comes from cheap labor in China.
Well, I'll give you that, yeah.
Even he can't escape the allure of cheap labor.
Yeah, and you just take a look and it's just sketchy. A man who has a bunch of small people working in a factory in the North Pole, where it's definitely, you're out there alone, so you can just cover up your tracks. And he flies, and he goes into people's homes and drops off packages for them.
We love Christian culture.
Yeah, and if you don't follow his rules, he punishes you. You get punished. You get coal. It's, yeah.
I mean, that's kind of a neat thing. You can get coal and you could use it to power your house.
Yeah, to be honest, yeah.
Well, I don't really know what else to talk about. I think we might leave off here. We've talked a lot about Christmas. We've talked a lot about different things going on. And since this is one of the last week that we're going to be able to record, I think this might be the last episode until next year, everybody.
Yeah, it's a very, honestly sad moment.
Yeah, I enjoyed this. It was really fun coming in here every other week.
And it's just like we were taking a look, and there's another podcast group doing a gaming podcast, and we were kind of just messing around. I had no intentions on doing anything else with this class, and then just all of a sudden, you just said, maybe we should do a podcast.
Yeah.
And I just thought it was a joke, and we did it, and I was like, all right, what do we do now? And then we just made it, every couple of weeks, and it's been a fun little journey.
Yeah, it has. I got bored of working with the gaming people because, I was just an editor, and I wanted to do something more because it seemed interesting, and talking about politics and stuff and doing things
right
like this
alley.
is always really fun. Yeah.
Yeah, it just feels like it's more interactive when you get to actually, work with the production of a podcast, not editing, but, actually being involved in, a co-host of the podcast,
Definitely.
co-host and co-host. But, it's been a really fun little bit, and it's going to be, sad to, not be able to do this as, frequently. I don't know if I'm going to take the class next semester or change my classes or anything, but, next it'll be fun next year. But
Yeah.
right now it's going to be a sad little bit to wait for that.
Yeah. Well, this is Jacob Homont,
And this is Brent Lampley.
and we're signing off. Till next year. Remember, kids, do volleyball and not radical Islamic terrorism.